All right, so we've got this big stack of articles all about Huel.
Yeah.
You sent them over, clearly interested in, is it all it's cracked up to be?
Yeah.
Especially for weight loss and the convenience factor.
Right.
But also, like, is it really healthy?
Yeah.
We've got a pretty diverse mix here.
Yeah.
Excerpts from Huel's own website,
Yeah.
reviews from some dietitians, even a whole deep dive from Healthline.
It's interesting how they're trying to position themselves, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're not just calling it a shake or a supplement.
Right.
It's like nutritionally complete food.
Yeah.
Like they're saying it could be used for weight loss, weight maintenance, or even to gain weight.
Wow.
Pretty ambitious.
Yeah, definitely ambitious. And they're not just powders anymore, are they?
No, they've branched out.
Yeah.
Ready-to-drink shakes, protein bars. Now they even have hot meals like pastas and curries.
Wow.
It's a whole...
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Yeah.
let's start with the basics. Okay.
What are you actually eating when you have Huel?
Right. Good point.
Yeah.
So their flagship product, the Huel powder, it's largely based on oats, tapioca flax seeds, coconut, and then a blend of pea and rice protein.
Okay.
And then they fortify it with 26 vitamins and minerals.
Okay. Well.
They make a big deal about being vegan, low in sugar and salt, containing fiber and probiotics.
Okay.
There's also like a black edition with higher protein, lower carbs, and it's gluten-free.
So they're really trying to cover all the bases?
Yeah, seems like it.
No wonder people are so curious about the weight loss potential.
Mm-hmm.
They even have that story on their website about Rob, the paramedic,
Oh, yeah.
who lost 35 kilograms in a year
Yeah, Rob's story.
using Huel.
It's compelling marketing for sure.
Yeah.
But it is important to remember any successful weight loss comes down to calorie control.
Right.
Huel makes it easy to track calories, but it's not inherently magical.
Yeah, it's not a magic bullet.
Right.
It's a tool.
Exactly.
It's convenient, especially, I think, for people like us.
With busy schedules, and they talk a big game about sustainability,
Yeah.
which is appealing.
For sure.
Vegan ingredients, low carbon footprint, recyclable packaging.
It all sounds very 2024.
Right. Very 2024.
But we need to look beyond the marketing and consider the potential downsides too.
Okay, yeah. What are some of those?
So some users report side effects like stomach pains and flatulence,
Oh, really?
probably due to the high fiber content.
Okay.
If you were to only consume Huel, you'd be getting 38.3 grams of fiber per day.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot for your system to handle,
That's a lot.
even if it's good for you in the long run.
I mean, I do wonder about the long-term health implications of just relying on something like this.
Right.
Even with all the added vitamins and minerals, is it truly as beneficial as getting nutrients from a variety of whole foods?
That's the key question.
Yeah.
And one of the dietitians whose review we have
Okay.
brought up a rather unexpected concern.
Oh, what's that?
Potential health issues from prolonged use due to the high omega-3 content.
Oh, wow.
You don't often hear about getting too much of a good thing like omega-3s,
Right?
but it is possible.
Yeah.
Excessive omega-3 intake can lead to things like bleeding problems or vitamin A toxicity.
Huh. That is surprising.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if they've gone a little overboard with the fortification.
Right.
They try and make Huel seem more complete.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
While some level of supplementation can be beneficial,
Yeah.
it's crucial to remember that whole foods provide a complex matrix of nutrients that we're still learning about. It's not just about hitting your daily targets for vitamins and minerals. It's about the synergistic interplay of all those components.
So maybe not a complete replacement for whole foods then.
Right.
It does make you wonder about the variety too. Could you really stick to just Huel long term without getting bored?
Yeah.
And wouldn't it make social gatherings a bit awkward?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are important considerations.
Yeah.
Even if Huel can help you achieve specific health goals in the short term,
Right.
it's crucial to think about sustainability from a lifestyle perspective.
Okay, so we've talked about what's in Huel, the potential pros and cons, and touched on some concerns about long-term use.
Yeah.
But how does it actually stack up against its competitors?
Right.
We've got some information here comparing Huel to other meal replacement options and meal delivery services.
Okay, so price-wise, Huel falls somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
It's cheaper than prepared meal delivery services, but pricier than options like SlimFast or Soylent.
Right.
Huel powder starts at around $2.12 per serving, while SlimFast can be as low as $0.49 per serving.
Wow.
Of course, the prepared Huel meals are more expensive, around $3.65 each.
Okay.
But comparing prices is just the tip of the iceberg.
Right. We need to look beyond just the cost per serving.
Yeah.
What about the nutritional differences between Huel and its competitors?
Right.
Are they targeting the same audience? And what about the user experience beyond just the price?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
We've got information here comparing the macronutrient profiles of Huel Soylent and SlimFast.
Okay.
And there's some significant differences.
Like what?
For example, Huel is generally higher in fiber and protein compared to SlimFast, which tends to be higher in sugar and lower in fiber.
Okay.
Soylent, on the other hand, falls somewhere in between.
So it's not just a matter of choosing the cheapest option.
Exactly.
It's about finding the right nutritional profile for your individual needs and preferences.
And user reviews suggest there are also significant differences in taste and texture.
Oh, really?
Some people find Huel to be grainy or chalky, while others find it perfectly palatable.
Okay.
Ultimately, it comes down to personal preference.
Sounds like there's a lot to consider.
Yeah.
We've heard from Huel themselves,
Right.
looked at competitor comparisons, and touched on some user experiences.
Yeah.
But what about the expert opinion?
Okay.
What do dietitians think about all this?
Well, the Dietitian Fit article we have here offers a balanced perspective.
Okay.
They recommend Huel as a convenient option for occasional meal replacements,
Okay.
but caution against relying on it for every meal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They emphasize the importance of prioritizing whole foods and a varied diet for optimal health and well-being.
Makes sense.
What's interesting is they also raise the question of psychological dependence.
Oh, really?
Even occasional reliance on a product like Huel could potentially impact our relationship with food.
Interesting.
It's a point worth exploring further.
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings us to a crucial question for you, dear listener.
All right.
We've laid out the facts, the pros and cons, and the expert opinions. Now it's time to turn the focus inward.
Okay.
What stands out to you about Huel?
Yeah.
What are your priorities and concerns?
Right. Yeah, it's all about putting this information into the context of your life.
Right.
You know, if you're someone who values convenience above all else, Huel might seem like a dream come true. But if you're someone who loves to cook and enjoys the ritual of preparing and sharing meals, then maybe it's not the best fit.
It's like we were saying before, food is more than just fuel.
Yeah.
It's a source of pleasure, connection, and cultural expression.
Yeah.
Can Huel really replace all of that?
Good question.
I know I tried Huel for a week just to see what it was like. And while I loved the convenience, I really missed the act of chewing.
Yeah, I think that speaks to a larger point about mindfulness
Right.
and our relationship with food. There's a growing body of research
Yeah.
highlighting the importance of mindful eating for both physical and mental health.
Interesting.
You know, paying attention to our food, savoring the flavors being present during meals, can help us regulate our food intake, improve digestion, and even reduce stress.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think using meal replacements could potentially hinder that mindfulness?
It's possible.
If you're just guzzling down a shake, are you really taking the time to appreciate your food?
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
If we become too reliant on quick and easy solutions like Huel,
Right.
we might start to lose touch with those natural cues of hunger and satiety. We might also miss out on the opportunity to develop a more mindful and intuitive approach to eating.
It's almost like we're outsourcing our relationship with food to a product.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
And that can have unintended consequences.
Like what?
For example, one of the studies you sent mentioned that people who regularly use meal replacements might be more likely to overeat later in the day
Oh, really?
because they haven't fully satisfied their psychological need for a meal.
That makes sense. There's a difference between feeling physically full
Right.
and feeling satisfied after a meal.
Exactly.
And I imagine that psychological satisfaction plays a big role in our overall enjoyment of food.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's something to keep in mind if you're considering incorporating Huel into your routine.
Right.
It's about finding that balance. Maybe Huel's a good option for a quick breakfast on those mornings when you're rushing out the door.
Right.
But it's probably not the best choice for a leisurely dinner with friends.
Right. It's all about being intentional.
Yeah.
Choosing the right tool for the right situation.
Yeah.
Speaking of tools,
Yeah.
we did talk about the sustainability angle earlier.
Right.
Huel seems to be doing some good things in that area.
Yes, they are. Their vegan commitment certainly reduces their environmental impact compared to animal-based products. And they're making an effort to minimize food waste.
Right.
with their long shelf life and recyclable packaging.
Yeah.
However, it's important to acknowledge that any processed food, even one made with plant-based ingredients,
Yeah.
will have a larger environmental footprint than whole foods
Right.
that don't require as much processing and packaging.
That's a good point. It's not just about what's in the product itself.
Right.
It's about the entire life cycle from production to disposal.
Exactly. And this brings us to a broader question. That, I think, is really at the heart of this whole discussion.
What's that?
What does it mean to have a truly sustainable relationship with food?
Ooh, that's a great question. And it goes beyond just Huel
Right.
or any other specific product.
Yeah.
We're talking about a shift in mindset, right?
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's about moving away from this idea of quick fixes and magic bullets
Right.
and embracing a more holistic approach that considers the environmental, social, and psychological impacts of our food choices.
So it's not just about counting calories
Right.
or optimizing our macronutrient intake,
Yeah.
but also about thinking about where our food comes from,
Why?
how it's produced, and how it makes us feel.
And thinking about the impact our food choices have
Right.
on the planet and on future generations.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that we're all part of a larger ecosystem and that our individual choices have ripple effects.
That's a powerful perspective.
Yeah.
It makes me think about how much emphasis we place on individual responsibility when it comes to health and sustainability.
It's a complex issue.
Yeah.
We can't ignore the role of individual choice,
Right.
but we also need to acknowledge the systemic factors that influence our food environment.
Okay.
Things like agricultural subsidies, food marketing, and the availability of healthy, affordable food options in our communities.
It's not just about willpower or education.
Right.
It's about creating a food system that supports healthy and sustainable choices for everyone.
Exactly, and that requires collective action.
Yeah.
We need policymakers, food producers, retailers, and consumers all working together
Wow.
to create a more equitable and sustainable food future.
That's a big task,
It is.
but an important one.
Yeah.
And it starts with conversations like this, where we can explore these complex issues and challenge our assumptions.
I couldn't agree more, and hopefully this deep dive has given you, dear listener, some food for thought.
I love it.
Pun intended.
We've covered a lot of ground here. We started with Huel, but we've really gone beyond just one product and delved into some much bigger questions about our relationship with food, our health, and the planet.
And now we want to leave you with one final question to ponder.
Okay.
Something that builds on all that we've discussed today.
All right, hit us with it. What's the final thought-provoking question for our listeners? Okay, give us that question to ponder. I'm ready.
So, knowing what we know now about Huel, the potential benefits, the drawbacks, the bigger picture of our relationship with food and its impact, the question is this: if you could design the perfect meal replacement, one that truly nourishes our bodies and minds while minimizing its footprint on the planet, what would it look like?
Wow, that is a really thought-provoking question. It's making me think about all the different factors we've discussed: nutrition, convenience, sustainability, taste, psychological satisfaction, social connection. It's not an easy task to balance all of those elements.
Exactly. This exercise isn't really about creating a product that's ready to go to market tomorrow. It's about using Huel as a jumping-off point to envision a better future for food, one where we don't have to compromise our health or the health of the planet for convenience.
So if I were to design my perfect meal replacement, I think it would have to be incredibly adaptable. It wouldn't be one size fits all. It would be customized to individual needs and preferences, maybe even adjusting based on your activity level or the time of day.
I like that idea. And imagine if it were made with ingredients sourced from regenerative agriculture, supporting local farmers and minimizing environmental impact. Maybe even incorporating some elements of personalized nutrition, like tailoring the micronutrient profile based on your unique genetic makeup.
That would be amazing. And it would have to be delicious, of course.
Agreed.
Palatable, but genuinely enjoyable to consume. Maybe it would come in a variety of textures and flavors so you could have something different every day and never get bored.
And perhaps it wouldn't just be a solitary experience. What if it came with suggestions for social activities or prompts for mindful eating exercises, encouraging people to connect with others and savor their meals even if they are consuming a meal replacement?
Now that's really thinking outside the box. It's about transforming the whole experience of consuming a meal replacement from something purely functional to something that nourishes us on multiple levels.
Exactly. It's about reimagining the possibilities and challenging the status quo. And who knows, maybe someday some of these ideas will actually become a reality.
I hope so. It's exciting to think about the potential for innovation in this space. And in the meantime, this conversation has definitely given me a lot to think about in terms of my own food choices and how I can create a more sustainable and fulfilling relationship with food.
I'm glad to hear that. And I hope it sparks some new ideas and insights for our listeners as well.
So there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into Huel has taken us on quite a journey, from the specifics of a meal replacement product to some much larger questions about the future of food.
It's been a fascinating exploration, and we appreciate you joining us along the way.
Remember, the power to make informed choices about your health and the health of the planet is in your hands.
Keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep striving to create a better future for ourselves and for generations to come.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep those brains buzzing.